Good evening. I've not done a video in about a day, about 2 days, because it's evening now. Did a video a while back where I spoke about insurrection against the U.S. government. Hold on a second. In that video, I made it very clear that anybody talking about insurrection against the U.S. government is psychotic. Period. And it's outrageous and it's foolish. And I was reading an article this evening, about windmills and windmill waste, and I guess a lot of the blades are coming to the end of their date. And, it was kind of a biased article, because the beginning I was like, what are we going to do with all these windmills? We're piling them up. And then there's a company that says they use up like 99% of the windmill in building houses. Windmills are huge. They're on oversized trucks and stuff. They're huge. And, they said, we're going to use it. We just, we need more buyers. So that's a future thing. That's something interesting to see. A lot of people talk about how, is it really saving anything, because you have to have these trucks, they have these highways, and the fact that the windmills are obtrusive, I guess, the noise at night and stuff. These people have never obviously been to some of these factories up in Jersey where they belch out black smoke and stuff. People are coughing. Where you go somewhere and it's near a factory and the stuff gets on your car. They've never been anywhere like that before, and they want to complain about noise. And well, let me keep talking about this before I go on to my point. Anyway, they were talking about how people were like, oh, liberals looking for a free lunch. No, we're not. That stuff can be used, and one day, hopefully, people will have a use for that as a building product. And this guy was like, it doesn't matter what we use, it's all going to be bad. What happens with the batteries and electric cars and stuff like 50 years from now and all this kind of stuff? At least we're trying. I mean, I don't understand it about the Caucasian, any kind of idea of progress or things like that. And I know what they're talking about. They're talking about sheer economic. I think we're talking about the quality of the air and these chemicals getting into our water table, these infinity chemicals. We're talking about that. And I think they're talking about it more in, are you getting this money back into the economy? I get it. I get what they're saying. And people are talking about how, that coal ash, can't do anything with that. We know how dangerous nuclear places are, things like that. I'm kind of conflicted on nuclear power, and I'm not going to talk too much about that. I might one day talk about it. I'm conflicted, because on one hand, I think it's very dangerous, but on the other hand, they're getting more and more, they're getting better at those chemicals, at getting better with those reactors to make them safer. This guy was talking about he was being negative. That's all I want to hear about conservatives. It's just negative. And this lady was like, listen, stop whining. Stop being a snowflake. This is a progressive step towards a greener future, a step towards progress, and progress is always going to require changes and tweaks over time. This is true. And she was like, you're just mad because everything isn't about you. That, to me, it's weird people say things and it all comes to me. That's the mindset of the Caucasian. That's the mindset of the Trump supporter. It's not so much racism as much as they just think that this whole world is for them. And this whole world is shaped around them. And anything that alters that balance or shifts that balance They just go crazy about it. Even when you come up with things that work and are beneficial, they're still negative because they're not being negative about the idea of clean energy as much as it's like we don't care about that. We don't care about that, and we're destructive, and we want to destructive. I realize that now. You're never going to get people to get, dangerous to the environment and plastics in the ocean. You're never going to get everybody to, especially rednecks, because they're just destructive people. They're destructive, wasteful people. And that's what they're used to, and that's what they do. It's destructive, nasty, vicious, animalistic beasts. And, what that woman said, going beyond the discussion of clean energy and the future of energies, moving beyond fossil fuels, moving beyond coal, moving beyond pollutant type stuff, they're not open to that. So I hate the South. That's why, I could make $1 million in Charlotte and I would still want to move. I hate it here. I hate it here. I hear these rednecks talk about progressives and how they're again. I'm just like, good. You know what I mean? That's the one thing about the South that gets me is that when I hear rednecks complain about things, there's a lot of times where I'm like, sounds good to me. There's a lot of times like that. They complain about things and I can't really understand what they're complaining about. A lot of times like that. I'm just speaking straight from my heart. I don't understand it. As I get older, it's weird. As I get older, I think a lot differently, and it's things I wasn't interested in when I was younger that I'm interested in now and I'm more aware of now. I don't think that makes them smarter. It's just that I'm able to look at things from different perspectives, and I find that interesting. That's something I find interesting about myself, that I'm able to view situations and issues from different perspectives. And the one thing about Caucasians, rednecks, is that as I get older, they don't. I realize that now. That's their whole problem, and that's their whole motivation with Trump. They don't see things from anybody else's point of view at all. And they don't care about who they hurt. I spoke previously with you guys about how you're watching a nationalistic wave sweep the globe. And I think that's because if America doesn't want to cooperate and work with these nations that are rising up, then they're going to either go with someone else, Russia or whatever, or they're just going to go nationalist themselves, because there's no reason for them to cooperate. That was what America had. And this, I call it this patriotic selfishness. There's nothing good about it. They're not spreading American goodwill. They're just spreading America as an imperialistic force to be reckoned with. That, do as we say, not as we do. We're watching the worst stereotypes of American imperialism. This country is everything I once said it was, if not worse. We're just watching the downfall of a once great democracy, I think. I'm not even going to talk about the Senate vote, the mockery of justice that was. I'm not even going to talk about that. I've talked about too much already. But that's what I realized about the Caucasians, just that these white people, they think society should be centered around them, and the idea that 100% of society and culture isn't centered around them, they go crazy. I realize that more now than ever. Someone like that, we're never going to get them to understand our point of view. That anger, that rage they bring to the discussion is just, I don't know, I know that you're never going to be, this article, I'm sorry, here in my mouth. this article, usually it'll be from like a woman or something, around a woman to get in my nose and my mouth. Women in here. So very rarely do I have hair flying around because my hair is all fucking nappy now. So that was something very weird. No women in here. But anyway, I just think that's their mindset. That's their mentality. And it's a mentality that does not allow. I mean, it's just like that Mexican, the Latino gentleman speaking about racism in the school, and he says, America's the best country in the world, and the white man tells him why to stay in Mexico. He's saying he loves his country. He's saying that, he loves his country, and the Caucasian is saying that basically just you opening your mouth to even, so much I realize is that America is so racist that the fact of you speaking out against racism means, in their mind, you're speaking out against America. And I'm at the point now to where I accept that, if that's the discussion. But for me, it's more about class. I'm moving more in that direction, class, than it is race. Because you got a lot of black folks doing dumb stuff. And I don't think that having more black people or having black people run society would be a more fair, just system. I mean, that's our problem with Roland Martin with his panel people he has on there is that I disagree with you guys. When we get that discussion, I veer off. Yes, there's racism. Yes, there's structural, systematic racism that has existed and will persist, and that we need to move against it. And we need to have black businesses, and we need to have black news agencies and news organizations. We need to have black entertainment. I'm in 100% agreement with that. But all of that has to fit within the larger discussion of an organized society, a more fair, just society. And I just think that that's what Fred Hampton was fighting for, that we're just going to say, if you guys don't put black issues first, and I don't think that's what he was fighting for. And that's certainly not what I'm fighting. That's why I talk more about Fred Hampton probably than anybody else, because that's really why I feel where I sit at. I'm not just saying that only black people have the answer. I think we all face the scourge of white supremacy. That is something that is a danger we all face. We all face the same oppressor. When we come down to it, I've talked to you guys about Asians. You've got these animes that have been completely whitewashed, where they have white people reading the lines, and what's like Dragon Ball Z, the Asian character, he fucking gets his highest form when his hair turns blonde. You see what I'm saying? You don't have a lot. I think Asians, it's hard for them to dye their hair blonde. There's something about that I heard years ago. I've seen some dye their hair blonde, but it's something about their hair that's just different than other people, other races. That's rare. I've seen like 2 people my whole life. It's rare. There's a woman that works at a place up here, Chinese restaurant she go to, and then there's one in when I was in Chattanooga. It's a restaurant out there. He had blonde hair. That's rare. But anyway, I'm getting back on the subject. I just white supremacy is the threat we all face. And I realized that ideology goes far beyond just race. White supremacy, the ideology, the Caucasian should be first in everything. And that no one else matters, and no one else has values, and that it's a destructive ideology. It's an ideology that's focused upon destruction and chaos, and that's how they think. Peace.